United States of America. The republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Hill.
Here.
Trustee Happy. Here. Trustee Axley.
Here.
Clerk Squires. Here. Treasurer Anderson is absent.
You have a short agenda before this evening there. Any board members have any additions or corrections before I call for the approval of the agenda? Oops, I'm sorry, we have a short meeting planned for this evening. Does any board member have any additions or corrections to the agenda under the new business or otherwise? There are none. Seeing none, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Moved by trustee Osley,
I'll second.
supported by trustee Happy. Any further discussion? All those in favor, keep saying aye.
Aye.
It's the same, motion carried, thank you. Next item is approval of the consent agenda, which includes items number 1 through 4. Notably, you include the budget adjustments that you've all got as presented. And also that we briefly discussed without. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Coach Squires. We'll have it in a minute to get a section. A second, okay, now we can discuss it.
Head report for the HL on the two, I just now noticed that was called. So
Say that again.
Yes.
What?
added the HOHL report
Oh, yeah.
was also included.
Oh, okay. We know that. We should be including those each month. Not to be the steering committee that are being popped out, so, yes.
The protocol, I mean, I presented it at the work session. Should it be done after that or then?
No,
That's
the
good.
board ought to see it at the work
Yeah,
session
yeah,
and the
okay.
public, and then we can, you can talk about anything
Yeah, yeah.
there is, and then we can place it in the consent agenda as something that we reviewed. That's not a problem. So we have a motion and we have a support, and we have, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same, that motion carries. There are elected official reports, over there, and they're also, out online as well. And I would entertain a motion to, place the elected officials reports, to be accepted and placed on file. Anybody want to make that?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, trustee Hoppy. There's a second, Clerk Squires, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, keep saying aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Hoppy, are you and I?
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. All right, very good. That motion carries then. We are now on to the public comments again, as before, the 4 items that you see on the agenda. Obviously, property time now, if you want to make comments before, these are action items. If you want the board to know something about one of them or something, then please feel free to raise your hand. If you do, you got to come up to the podium here. There's a little chair here and turn your mic on and be recorded. Anybody have any public comments regarding the agenda items this evening? Nobody on Zoom?
Nope.
Okay, not seeing it, we'll move right on. The new business. The new business comes off of the recommendation at the work session from Chief Mashinsky. That the board approved the hiring of Jonah Schutte to fill the vacant lieutenant position at the Gerrish Township Police Department pending a background check, physical, drug test, and the required Michigan Commission Law Enforcement paperwork with a start date of November 3rd, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed the same. That motion carries. Chief, I assume that maybe in the November, I think it's the 12th meeting because of Veterans Day. Will you be bringing him here
Yeah, we'll do
for a swear in?
at that meeting.
The ceremonial swearing?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Michelle, can you make a note out of that and help me remember when we do the agenda? Thank you. Very good. Thank you. That's exciting news. Getting back up to almost full staff, on that, and on that night, there is a young lad due to graduate. What date, please? December?
December 5th is his graduation date.
Yep.
Yep, the academy, and then it'll be put in the schedule and the location, for the FTO, program.
And then at that point, we will finally be back up to full staff
Yes,
for the first time in how many years.
Yeah.
We'll cross our fingers.
Very exciting.
Yes. Okay, number two, also Chief Mashinsky briefed us on will literally be the island in front of the South Park liquor store, shop or store, out in the Sharps Corners. He had asked the board authorize Chief Mashinsky to pursue the no parking temporary traffic control order in front of 5 East Higgins Lake Drive, with the same to be in effect year round, and that recommendation actually came from the business owner themselves, my understanding. Okay, very good. Does anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Clerk Squires. And do we have?
I'll support.
Ordered by trustee Hoppy. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed the same, motion carried, thank you. Number three is the 2026 Parks and Recreation Project at the Gerrish Township Municipal Park. We all received and reviewed, I guess with the exception of Clerk Squires, because I think you were absent at the work session.
Watch it though.
Okay, very good. So there was a request by our Parks and Recs chair. And so I would entertain a motion that the board authorize the Gerrish Township Parks and Recreation Chair, Susan Seamat, to sign the proposed estimate number 7052, dated 9/26/25, as presented by the Great Lakes Recreation Company LLC, to ensure the price of $14,207 to move forward in the spring of 2026 with the purchase and installation of a Revolution inclusive spinner at the Gerrish Township Municipal Park out here. Do I have a motion by board member?
I'll make that motion.
And I got a motion on the floor. Do we have a support?
I'll support it.
Okay, discussion. Any board member have any discussion
Yeah.
on that?
Comments.
Very good.
First I want to say I appreciate our Parks and Rec committee for all the hard work they do. When this project started, I thought it had been presented as being, grant funded. And I didn't realize that we would be using like $9,000 out of the budget. There had to be some moving around to be able to make that happen, but my concern is with the fact that we're looking at doing more when we have parts of Parks and Rec, like nobody's talked about the mobile chair, what the plan's gonna be for that, what's gonna need to be done for that. If you have, I haven't heard anything. And I just don't think that now's the time to spend that kind of money on that type of an item without it being totally grant funded. That's my opinion.
Any other board member?
I guess unless I'm mistaken, but when this first came up, this was to be a grant funded project. I wasn't really in favor of this. I've never been a big fan of this particular thing anyway, but that's fine. I'm not gonna get in the way of what the recreation committee wants to do. I mean, I'm not gonna. Budget time is one time to discuss, but once you get into the season and you're running your budget, okay. But it was my understanding that this was gonna be a grant, unless I'm mistaken, but this was supposed to be grant funded and not coming out of regular budget money. I guess I'll stay in support of this, but I don't think it's the right thing. I think it should have been 100% grant because that's what we talked about doing. and not coming out of the regular budget. We don't know what the budget's gonna be for next year. And what other expenses there's gonna be. There are other things that, we wanna see the recreation, that I want to see the recreation committee consider. But, so I guess where I'm at is I'm gonna vote in favor of it, but I'm not necessarily in favor of the fact that when I was told it was gonna be granted and it's gonna be, budget money coming up, so. That's my thoughts on it. I don't wanna micromanage. I think that's what it gets down to. I don't wanna micromanage the recreation budget. That's your business. That's what you guys do. But it's not a matter of micromanagement, it's a matter of something that we talked about it in the first place.
So let's, sorry, yeah, I got thoughts. And I appreciate your comments, both of you. You're all have opinions, and so, and it's okay. I don't remember us ever saying it was totally gonna be grant money. The beautiful thing is that the item, we're talking about a spinner. I don't know if y'all have been to the park on the lake, the Gerrish Township Park. There's a spinner, and it's normally $10,000 and it's on sale for $5,000, which they're gonna honor, even though we don't want it until the spring, we'll still honor the $5,000. The unfortunate part is all the stuff that you have to do. You have to have, certain ground cover to it, and you gotta have, it's all the stuff around getting it here and the getting it here and having it thing. I love the pickleball courts. I don't play pickleball, and that's okay. We have not added any kid stuff out here since I've been here, and this is 6 years. And actually, it's my neighborhood, so I could say it's been maybe a lot longer than that. And unfortunately, that equipment is just ridiculously priced anyway, in my opinion. So a lot of the others, so I don't remember us ever saying like we had a total grant. We do have some grant money that we've gotten, so we have tried to bring it down. And truly, I think we need to do, I think if we actually do get our pole barn with the, and the bathrooms, we probably come out of pressure, but we don't have any big projects for next year. So as far as money wise coming out of the Parks and Rec, I think we have it to spend, and I think the playground needs something new. I know when I bring my grandkids down there, it's like, this is same old. And it's a lot more fun than that stuff that's except for the swings. The swings are a big hit.
Just for clarification for the audience, there were two grants that were attempted through Rotary and through that now. Both of them were successful. The Rotary wasn't as successful in a full amount in which it was applied. Within our general fund budget, the Parks and Rec occupies a space in there, and it's a budget essentially. And the budget adjustments that we did were all in preparation, meaning that it would be out of this year's budget, not next year's budget. And so that was clarified, and of course that was part of the budget adjustments here. The only thing that I say about, I do have concerns about next year's budgets, period. We have a special assessment district that has, if it goes through, there's a significant amount of money with no amount of potential revenue attached to it, to pay it. In a marina and in our Gerrish Township Park, we're also being assessed for. I'm just going through the list of complexities of next year's potential unknowns for budget and for expenses that are there. And so I'm not going to oppose the spinner. It's out of this year's budget. We're not spending next year's money. We're not doing any of those things. But I will say that next year, I think it's a good possibility of any of those things. I could list a whole bunch of them. We got a price quote of $12,241 for a brand new well at the cemetery because we have a bad situation down there. We haven't had a well for the last couple of months, and nobody wants to tackle the old 2-inch well because you're just good money after bad, bad money after good concept. Nobody will work on it essentially. And at least the people we call. So anyways, I'm not gonna beat the dead horse to death, but this is spending, this year's, money, and it isn't spending it to zero. Obviously, the other planning was done involved in it. There's a small balance that would be left. What this last year and the previous year, we were able to augment, that budget, by $30,000, and I don't know that we're gonna be able to get there this time, depending on many of the depends. But at the end of the day, I can't argue with the thought about, an update out here. And I'm not gonna, as Jim, I'm not going to, I don't want anybody, we have a Parks and Recs committee, they're very active and their work has been very good. To date, so that's kind of my feeling on it. So any other comments, board, before I ask for a call for that question? Or I should say, sorry, we motioned, we seconded, we discussed, so I thought. Yes, what?
I was just gonna add, the people that live around the park on the lake. And, Carlos. That East Spinner, which is what we wanna get out here, has been used the most. More than the little gymnasium thing or anything, they say that thing's always, kids love that. In other words, kids love it. The folks, might have something.
Right. I would, we have had a motion and we had a second and we had discussion. I will say all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
I,
Opposed? One opposed, please roll call.
Supervisor Hill,
Yes.
trustee Appy,
yes, I'm sorry.
Squires,
No,
trustee Pasley.
Yes.
Thank you, with one absent, so we have 3 yeses and we have one nay and one absent, and we have a quorum and the motion passes. Thank you. I appreciate everybody's discussion on it.
yeah, thank you.
I do. And as I always said, we don't always have to be out there. It's we are ones, so. We're on to number 4. We still have been trying to fill these construction board of appeals for a 2-year term. And I was made aware that Jason Small, who already was a sitting member, I heard that he wasn't willing to serve again. And so I would entertain a motion, the board appoint Jason Small to the Gerrish Township Construction Board of Appeals for a 2-year term ending on 9/10/27.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Clerk Squires, do we have support? Support trustee Ossom. Any further discussion, folks? I thank him for stepping up. I think we have now 2, because we still need 1 more to fulfill 3 there. So, I call
All those in favor?
thank you. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same, motion carries. Thank you. We are now up to comments by the public for whatever's on the mind. Anyway. Nothing on Zoom. Not hearing anybody that has any. Well, you're public.
Well, I was getting if anybody else wanted to go first.
No. Push the button, please.
All right, Kim Morley, County Commissioner, District 2. A little bit of an update of what's going on the county level. It is budget season, as I mentioned the last time I was here. We are still navigating 4 union contracts, which will dictate quite a bit of what will happen, benefits wise, everything else in this budget. Benefits for our non-union employees is also being looked at because they had a change last year that's not seemed to be as favorable for the staff. Not sure if we can make any changes this year because the past benefit plan will not hold you again for another year, so we may be stuck. There's been a lot of discussion about how do we look at that earlier than later next year. Luckily, with the state budget that passed, county revenue sharing did not change. It didn't go up, but it did get reduced, as I know the townships did get a reduction. So, but on the flip side of that, there are a lot of unfunded mandates for our court systems and things like that that are still quite in flux for what may not be coming forward. So we, just like you, are going to have a lot of differences that are going to hit our budget for 2026. So we're still trying to navigate that and still take care of our employees because they're the ones who keep the doors open for us. So, the state, there's a lot going on. We attended, or myself and Chair Sensor attended the Michigan Association of Counties conference. And one of the biggest topics amongst all of us in the state have been around mental health. So as I mentioned at the last meeting, we have,
You say lack of mental health or mental?
no, we have a mental health problem. And there's a lack of services and
Thank you.
funding for that. Yes, thank you.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, just
Maybe I heard.
so in that, one of the things, as I mentioned last time, is we're working on the opioid money that we receive from the federal government and how do we work those wraparound services. One of the programs that we listened to at this conference, they've done this in a couple different states. It's not just opioid money, but it's around mental health with crisis intervention teams. It looks like they've been doing this for quite a long time. They've been able to save like over $1 million a year in these counties. Not putting people in the jail when they don't need to, not taking them to the ERs and things like that. So they're going to come and present to our board and to give our group, and Commissioner Wilson is the one who's kind of spearheading the opioid project, but how this would all link and tie together. So we're hopeful we might get at that maybe in November, one of our meetings. So we'll open it up if anybody else wants to come and listen to it as well. A special thank you to Trustee Osling for, there's some conversation go around in community mental, not mental health, but in our health district, Central Michigan District Health Department, with our GIS system and the mapping and sewers and things like that, and where those parts are. Here is some miscommunication. Apparently they're needing different counties to contribute to this. We give them quite a bit of money already every year. So we're trying to figure out where does that money go, because we're not seeing a breakdown for what Roscommon gets versus the other counties. But when Trustee Ossing and I were talking with them, there's some things that we may be able to work together. So we're going to try to set up a meeting with them, and with you and myself, just to say, what is it that you actually need? Because they were wanting some data from us, and we're not sure that that data they asked for is as much as they think it is. There's just a lot of miscommunication. So we're gonna sit down at a table, hopefully, and yeah.
Is it, we have for Thursday or
I did not see a date yet. Did she send something back?
check your email? I think there might be I think there is an update about Thursday.
Okay,
So
cool. Yeah, I think it would just be helpful because we've said, no, we do not have a GIS department and other counties do. And we charge our own departments, emergency management or anybody else who needs maps, we charge them. So it's not fair for us to charge another department that we already give money to and not make our own department heads pay.
So how are you getting your current GIS information updated from the treasurer's office to the GIS so that the map represents the current?
I don't know where it comes from the treasurer's office. So the mapping that they're doing right now, I don't know if it's exactly what the health department's doing. And I think that that was why it would be important, because what we've seen when we go to, because I sit on their board, what they're showing may not be what we do. They just may need parts of what we do to fulfill their system. And that we haven't been able to uncover. So I don't know where it goes from the treasurer's department. Hopefully we can,
Figure it out.
yeah, what is it that we need? How do we work collaboratively on that? Our goal is we're not duplicating money or effort. If you guys are already ahead of the game on something and they need help, I mean, how do we work on that together? If there is even something to be done about that. It's hard for me to say at this point, but thank you for working with us on that so that we can maybe work on that down the road. We do have the, speaking of lakes, because you know the lakes are always the major conversation at our board meetings. There is a minor permit that's being presented to Eagle to put an additional couple inches of aluminum pieces to help some of the wave action. We'll see if that gets approved. It's looking positive. The advisory committee applications are out and I just want to make sure, because we've added a little bit different than Hope Lake did, but there will be one board member from each of these organizations. Higgins Lake Property Owners, HOPOA, the Land Conservancy, and the Foundation. There will be one homestead member from each of the townships that are they have to be within the SAD. So there'll be a Lion, a Gerrish, and a Beaver Creek. One non-homestead member from each of those areas that are in the SAD. One member from each of the township boards, like you guys, you'll get to appoint somebody from your board that you would like to serve on that as well. And then the lake manager, Chase Shepke. A little clarity on my role for that. Chair Sensor and Commissioner Wilson, over a year ago, were appointed to be the lake committee for the board. They were the only two people on the board who had no ties to the lakes at all. So versus other people that were on the board at that time. So they are still in that role. Commissioner Wilson will probably come and talk to you about here's the people, here are committees and things like that, because that will be his role. I'm a communicator, but I do not lead that group. So you can funnel questions to me, but those two people kind of run that. And then once the advisory committee gets put together, Chase Shepke, the lake manager, will run those. They're very informal. There's not a board. There's not, roll call and all that. But they will be discussing what the structure may need to be. Once we understand this water survey, it will help Eagle and then to be able to say, yeah, this may not work, this will work. And how do we, the people on this advisory committee, what do we want that to look like? So until we get that survey, that group will probably start to work in November or early December as well. And you can participate via Zoom because we know a lot of people who are in these groups don't, they're not here in the winter, but that work will get started once that survey comes. So that's all I have.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Couple of questions, actually. One will just go off the tail end of that.
Mhm.
I've been curtailed hearing about this committee. And so, and I'm just trying to figure out here, because I don't wish to put our township's foot in any more liability than we already have on a constant basis. So, as we know, everything is within. And so you have this committee. We already have a proposal for the special assessment district that sits there. It's not levied, if you will, at this point.
Right.
So I don't know, I just kind of feel like that's almost like Thor's hammer over someone's head. And then now you want to bring in other entities to sit down and talk about what goes forward. And so is this committee, the Roscommon County Committee, covered by your insurance pieces in case this becomes lawsuit driven down to a committee level?
The advisory committee?
Yeah. Yeah, I know it has no authority to
Right.
make decisions, but is it indeed a Roscommon County covered event under your umbrella, if you will, regarding?
Good question. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Because as we know, every time we touch the lake, we turn into a lawsuit and we don't seem to solve, we just seem to go to zero sum corners. And I guess before I would want myself anyways at all to consider being involved, I would want to make sure that,
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you, no, I'm not happy that we have almost the scepter of the right here could levy any moment, and then now we want to turn around and talk about it. I just think that's kind of a backwards process, but
So
that's just Brian's opinion, not this.
Totally understand.
Just, you served with me. In other words, I just look at that bigger umbrella.
Don't know the answer to whether or not an advisory committee is covered under some liability insurance.
Yeah, that's all I want to know.
I can find that out.
Mhm.
The other piece of that is this board or this advisory committee is not to discuss a SAD. So, if by chance the Court of Appeals comes back and says you guys are all wrong, then we don't have a committee to deal with anything and we just won't do it.
Yeah, okay,
So-
I just wanted the clarification because it seemed like the the cart after the horse.
Right.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the mission of the advisory committee then?
It will be to determine what type of structure, because I shouldn't even go there. Some people don't want a Taj Mahal, some people say just put rock, and some, so there's a lot of argument on what that might look like. But the water survey will be able to tell us if any structure at all will help us maintain that legal level. And that is one of the requirements that Eagle wants to hear too, so.
And what else? You said there were a couple other things. You just spoke. That committee was functioning for.
So they will work on what that structure would be. What's gonna, based upon the studies and the costs, what can we do with a structure in order to keep the legal level? If, let's just go on a whim, let's say the study says there's no structure, no demand that's gonna help you do that. Okay, then what do we do? Do we have to go back and say to the courts, which will cost money, and ask for a change in that legal level? We don't know that yet, but we don't want to put a group together to not have a conversation about something to work with, so. Once that study's done, it should be done probably early November from what we're hearing from Chase. So once that's done, that should be something that they can work on. And they may not form if there is nothing.
So are you searching for like an engineering component to this committee at all, or?
If that's some expertise that somebody would like to bring forward, absolutely. They will look at both Chair Sensor and Commissioner Wolfson will look at all the applications and see what's the best mix of bringing all ideas together.
The second question, not on that at all. I'll let you.
Oh, come on.
I'll let you breathe. Second question is when I talked to Rex Wilson
Mhm.
regarding materials management, he had indicated the money was hung up at the state on planning pieces. And the planning pieces, of course, is what got rolled out to all of us townships a year and a half ago or better by Clerk Valentino and by the Commissioner Wolfson at a Roscommon Township Association meeting. And without that plan, I mean, we all voted as townships to have the county go ahead and apply, be the plan holder and contract for that
Okay,
and apply for that grant. And last I talked to him a couple months ago, or a month ago, it was still tied up, if you will. Do we
Okay.
know if that made it through the final state budget to pay for that plan? Because what was quoted initially as 60,000 for that grant is turned into 72 once they got it together to submit to the state. And then it's sitting at the state at that piece. The reason why I ask you that is I've been trying to prepare our public about the compost site and materials management
Right.
law that came into effect. And we were going to be relying on this plan as to what happens if some of these townships are supposed to produce the materials management for recycling and composting. And there are many that don't have any in this county, which is going to cause that hardship, which logically then it is, you got to go to the people that have stuff, which we do.
right,
So I'm just interested in what that looks like out there.
okay.
Michelle, this morning, you showed me,
RTA meeting.
you showed me from the RTA meeting there, that was,
He pretty much was saying that it'll be shared services. Gonna come down to shared services of big equipment and that sort of thing.
Did that answer the question that you just had?
yeah, so.
I'm sorry, I lost that.
Well, the shared, there's been, when they came initially, there was a pretty evident that some of these smaller townships would never be able to meet that materials management I think it was a 2023 to follow along. And so in that plan, those things were supposed to be explored and discussed. And even at that meeting, it was pretty evident that I thought anyways, that shared service was going to have to be discussed, meaning if you have it and someone else doesn't, that within the 11 townships, someone may contact you and say, hey, how much to use your site? Because you have it.
To use your site or to, when you said shared service, to use your equipment?
Or use
Well,
your
it-
equipment,
it
but
has
that's
to
the other
be.
piece in it.
That's
Yeah.
what this was said in the meeting minutes.
Your
The
bulldozer.
equipment.
I read those meeting minutes and I heard that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I, before it was, and the point to that is that if you are accommodating other townships, is what we have here now going to do that? And what are we going to have to do to make that accommodation?
and I'm assuming if
Well,
you're
I know
sharing your
it's like,
equipment,
yeah.
who's got the liability on that equipment, who's
Yeah,
paying for the
listen, this
equipment?
opens up another
Yeah.
bill
Okay. And you
of
would
that.
ask for it.
And you know, the state came out, a while ago, made me think we were quite serious about all this. They came out surreptitiously and measured up our compost site and, looked at all of our stuff and then said, hey, by the way, you qualify to have a $750 permit. And you need to report your beginning and your end piles essentially. And then they come back and they check those beginning and end piles. So it looks like at the state level, at least the working parts there are all prepared to go do this, but I'm just wondering where that grant status
grant.
is and because without that, there won't be planning. You can't suck
Right.
onto that kind of money.
Right.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just-
with Commissioner.
And you may not know. I don't know.
He may not. I do not know that,
Yeah.
but,
And just, as we look out into the future, you heard Mary Jo allude to maybe a different, structure over here because we have a 35-year-old garage that's not
It pounds
fitting
it.
not fitting the needs for storage. It just makes sense if something like that's coming down the road, you got to plan for that. Those are expenditures you just can't.
I have not, and we had a really great budget, legislative update. I heard nothing about that.
Okay.
But if he doesn't know, there might be a connection through Mac that might give us some insight on that side of things.
That'd be
So I
great,
can
because there was
check.
supposed to be a county driven grant based on the 11 townships saying, no, let's just get it all in one location. So,
Sure.
and then when we did that, we don't know.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Does any other board member have questions for Kim?
Anybody else?
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate your
Thanks.
service for us. Any other comments from the audience or questions? I don't see any. Mary Jo?
Nope.
Anything from you? What's quiet?
Is this our final timer?
It's your final
Is
comment?
it? Yeah.
Oh, we got our tree.
Yeah. From the tree.
From the tree.
We need frogs.
Bring in
We
candy.
need candy.
Bring trucks.
Nobody gonna talk to us at all.
What are you talking about?
Well, for the
On Cemetery.
cemetery. Like,
No, I asked for that. If you're talking about the well,
yeah.
I asked for that for budgetary pieces in December because that will be a plan for next year.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah, no, we're not gonna try and keep that
not
out
in
of
the
a.
spring,
But,
not this spring.
it'll be, well,
Or at
it'll
least
be,
spring, yeah.
it'll be, right, but in next year's budget.
Okay, okay.
I needed to have something to tell me what is the amount of a ballpark here. There's still a bid
Okay.
process, there's still those things to go.
Yeah, which we all got that.
Yeah.
Nothing for me.
Okay, I will finish it up with, on our kind, Michelle and I, as part of the health insurance committee. We'll be doing our due diligence with our agent on November 7th in the afternoon. And along with the other health insurance committee folks in town, we have the department, a couple chiefs and that kind of thing to take a look at what this health insurance market's going to look like, for us, whether our product is still available. And if it is, how much more expensive it is. We're all been hearing lots of things, but I'd like to see actuals. So we'll be meeting there for that. Buck's Tree Service, October 22nd. He's going to be in because we can cut the oak pieces, all of those. Should be done that day in the afternoon. So the park pieces will be taken care of. I would like board members to please go down to Gerrish Township Park. I'd like to look at the tree on the left-hand side going down. We had quite a group of branches off of that, came down this summer and not even a storm, but came down. The tree looks a bit slim.
Split.
Yeah, it is, and it looks a bit slim up there. When I went and looked at it, I don't know whether it's gonna be healthy or not, but I think that That's all outside of anything that we previous met with Josh on, and that's pretty tough tree.
It's this big tree.
And so I don't know what the cost of that is gonna be. Certainly that's you know, to be considered, especially this time of year with budget.
And I don't know if it's a risk either, like, I'm.
That's the other thing.
No, I don't know that it's a risk at this point. I think it's maybe one to watch.
Susan, Mac, did you have, was that down at the time that when you bumped into Josh on the trees? Has he seen that?
He has seen, you're talking about the
Yeah,
broken
the
tree.
one that's-
house?
Well, I'm not talking about any like this. I'm talking about the
Oh, the
one
That
that,
got split.
Yeah, it fell off,
Right.
that was cleaned up and it split, so it's, yes, it's kind of open and wounded at the top. He was there with me last Friday.
okay, so
But it
he
needs to
should
come
be
down.
able to tell me, what kind of dollars we're talking about to include that in the processes we have.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
And he said it is dead, or it won't live the way it is.
right, it's not dead, but he thinks it's very precarious and he would recommend taking it
Okay.
down. Because of what you said, it's super tall.
Yeah.
And it's very
Oh.
skinny now.
And listen, one storm and it's a
Yeah.
possibility, I think. I mean, you can't prognosticate weather or whatever, but yes, Susan.
Can I just modify one thing you said about Bucks going there? You said the 22nd.
Yeah.
Bucks is actually going there on the 27th.
Excuse me, it's 27th.
Yeah.
22nd is the winterization and whatever. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
have 2 dates mixed. I'm sorry. Yes, 27, you are correct. What I sent you today.
Yes, both of them. Yep.
Okay, the other thing is I, in watching the state budget early on in it, they were saying all of our state shared revenue, which isn't much to this township. Last I checked, it was maybe $1,500 or something. Was definitely gone, and then I read another legislative update piece that constitutional revenue share, which is our larger chunk of state funding coming in, was supposed to decrease by 6.3% of that figure, and that figure is well over $300,000. So we're looking at loss of revenue there. We're looking at potential increased taxation of the township. And
Yeah,
there's
it's
just,
almost 30,000.
and there's just a lot of things, and it's gonna be a very interesting budget formulation this year. The good news is we did last year, took that budget right down to bare bones, so that we knew exactly what line, and I don't think that'd been done for 20 years, what that was, and so I think we have some real tangible numbers to work with this year as we start building
We
back.
haven't had to make any adjustments. yet.
Well, no, we haven't. No, we've been fairly right on. Most of the adjustments have to do with outside money that came in, not granted or something else. So, I'm not totally discouraged, but it's just a challenge. So, those are the last couple updates, that I wanted to update everybody on from my perspective, from my desk, if you will. So. All right, I would, at this point then, I would entertain a motion, to adjourn this. And,
I had nothing to say.
yeah,
For a change,
he
for a
did,
change.
he did.
So moved.
7:43, so moved by, trustee. And do we have a support?
I'll support.
Support by clerk Squires, any further discussion? All those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye, opposed the same, motion carried. Thank you all for joining us. Short agenda tonight. We still managed to get 45 minutes.